A mother denied evidence.
It's been a year since my son's been gone, and I haven't even had an opportunity to grieve because I have so many unanswered questions.
Details in a 21-year-old's death kept quiet by law enforcement.
As much as we may want to release everything and get it out there, sometimes that's not advisable from a legal standpoint.
A legal loophole state lawmakers could change after our research.
I don't think there's any way that an investigation like this doesn't advance the legislation that's being worked on.
That and much more coming up. Hello, and thank you for joining us for State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. The new Army Futures Command headquarters is bringing new opportunities and expecting big returns here in Texas. The headquarters is bringing 500 jobs to downtown Austin. Its mission is to develop the next generation of tools for American soldiers. But the military's latest investment in Texas extends beyond the capital city. Wes Rappaport looks closer at the expectations top brass have for the Lone Star State.
Howdy.
Army Futures Command General Mike Murray says his visit to College Station aims to tap into all of what Texas has to offer.
Although we're based in Austin, we're on a countrywide search for the best talent and the best ideas we can find.
General Murray is touring facilities that focus on research and development of unmanned vehicle systems, environmental technology, and equipment testing space.
They're not looking for a single college or a single department.
Murray, who spent nearly a decade at Fort Hood, tells me Texas is the most military-friendly state.
Primarily because of a sense of patriotism and a sense of wanting to do something for the country. So I think the Army can benefit greatly from the entire state of Texas.
Governor Greg Abbott said he'll work with lawmakers to continue growing these military partnerships. And General Murray says the benefits go both ways.
I bring good people. I bring good neighbors, I bring soccer coaches, I bring, people that will be in church next to you, and I bring very patriotic people that are fundamentally committed to the defense of this nation, to the communities we join.
I'm Wes Rappaport for State of Texas.
We've been introducing you to some of the new people who will be working for you in the Texas legislature. One of them is James Tallarico, a Democrat who won House District 52 in Williamson County. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What's been happening since the election? What have you been up to?
I mean, it's been a little overwhelming since election night, trying to get up to speed on all the issues that we're going to be facing in the next session, trying to build our office and our staff, and starting to reach back out to our new constituents. And I'm in a little bit of a different spot because I won a special election as well. So some new members are getting a little break. I have to kind of hit the ground running. But it's such an honor to be given this trust by the community that I grew up in. And so I feel the pressure to live up to their expectations and make them proud during the session.
Well, what is your first priority in the session going to be?
Yeah, so, I ran on public education. I'm a former middle school teacher. And usually when I tell folks I taught middle school, they comment on my bravery. And I usually tell them that teaching middle school is the best preparation for Texas politics. So I can handle the drama.
All right.
And so as a teacher, as an educator, I hope to bring a much needed perspective to the conversation around school finance. A lot of our communities in Williamson County and throughout Central Texas are kind of being squeezed at both ends. Their schools are being underfunded and not getting the resources they need. At the same time, their property taxes are rising, making it unaffordable to stay in their homes. And the only way to fix both those problems is to fix our broken school finance system. And I hope that's our #1 priority going into the session in January. District
52 has been a Republican district for a while, sure. And Williamson County is red, sure. Traditionally. Sure. How did you reverse that trend?
Yeah, I feel like given the national climate where there's so much polarization and tribalism and partisanship, that people were looking for not a Democrat or a Republican, they were looking for servant leaders who were going to put their interests first. And that's how I ran my campaign and how I intend on running my legislative office and serving as their state representative. I'm a proud Democrat, but I will always put the people of House District 52 first before any party or any special interests. That's the kind of leadership we have to get back to in this country if we're going to heal the wounds and start to bridge some of these divides.
Larry Gonzalez was your predecessor.
That's right.
He's a Republican,
That's right.
And he backed your opponent, but you met with him after the election. How'd that go?
I did, and I knew Larry before I jumped in the race, and I had admired greatly his service to our community. He was one of these leaders who resisted the tides of partisanship and actually tried to serve the community and reach across the aisle to make that happen. And so, during the campaign, I said I would try to live up to his example, and that remains true after the election. And he and I have been in constant contact since election night and have really made a pretty smooth transition from his team to our team.
Your opponent, Cynthia Flores, she called on her supporters after election night to go ahead and support you. Is this something that is a little bit unusual for a candidate to do? I mean, do you really think that that's going to happen?
Yeah, so it is unusual and it shouldn't be. I was enormously honored to be running this race with Ms. Flores, and she ran a clean campaign that was positive and reflected her character and her class. I think we both understood the people of House District 52 deserved a campaign about ideas and about a vision for the state. So I was really proud of the campaign that she and I ran, and I hope that she and I are going to partner together to serve the community going forward, because the election's over. Now the time for governing has begun.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing what you do in the session. Representative-elect Talarico?
That's a lot of syllables, so we'll just go with James for now.
You're going to have to get used to that, Representative.
I guess so, yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Public information exists so that we can shine a light on government and what's going on in government. This investigation has shown that we're not allowing people to shine the light. We're taking the batteries out of their flashlight.
A legal loophole letting police keep details when suspects die secret could soon change after we dive into the widespread use of that measure statewide. Now, a mother's fight for answers here in Central Texas and the evidence we uncover in her case. Ahead on this special edition of State of Texas.
I just gave another round of Epi.
Okay. Still got nothing?
And on cold surface, he's starting to get rigid.
Okay, y'all. We're good. Thank you.
That's it?
Yes, sir.
I just want to know what really killed him, because it's kind of hard to accept that my son just died from natural causes. He's 21. He had his whole life ahead of him.
Austin 911, do you need police, fire, or EMS?
Before you get to the light on 51st and 183, a car had went off the road down into the pavement, down into the creek.
All right, stay on the line for me. I got help on the way, okay?
We got 3 occupants. They're being treated right now. They're working on getting them out of the creek.
The driver, he's standing in the creek bed, up to his waist for no discernible reason, just talking to himself and gesticulating with his arms.
He's transporting the driver to the New Dill Hospital. I'm going to follow.
You got seatbelts you up, but I'm still going to try to leave it loose on you so you don't have to touch it, all right?
You're actually being charged with intox assault.
Intox assault?
Yeah.
What is that?
When a DWI results in an injury to another person, like a serious bodily injury, it gets enhanced to what's called an intoxication assault.
I'm not coming home. Ain't gonna be no coming home for that.
He called me from jail to let me know that he was arrested.
What'd you think when you first saw him?
From what I seen, he had a busted eye vessel, his back and his shoulder and his legs was hurting from the impact. I told him he needed to go to medical and make sure that that wasn't something real severe. The only information that they had is that he went into a seizure inside his cell. I mean, my son doesn't have a history of seizures. He's played sports since he was 11 years old. I've kept him in football and basketball and track. We have to go through full physicals, so he's never had any type of heart condition.
When your lawyer tried to get information in the case, what happened?
They just kept giving him the runarounds. That's when he called me back and told me he couldn't take the case. If you're not wrong and you did everything by the book, then you have nothing to worry about. So why withhold the information?
Appreciate you hearing House Bill 3234. This is about closing a loophole and opening up some crucial information to public scrutiny. The intent of the bill isn't to cause any issues in an active case. What we're dealing with here are closed cases that fall into an exception that they shouldn't have.
House Bill 3234 will be left pending at this time.
We have to be better. We have to demand more of ourselves and our systems.
How will this information help you in the upcoming legislative session?
This data and information is something that members of the legislature didn't have going to last session. It's invaluable for someone like me. Presenting a bill now for the second time with evidence, it is one of our priority bills for the session.
I'm conducting an investigation into the questionable death of a Mr. Herman Titus. In doing so, I'm going to be interviewing everybody that had any kind of contact with him. Did he talk to you any or talk to you about?
A little bit. I mean, basically all he talked about was his mom and his sisters. He's 21 years old. He's talking about getting out and straightening his life up. I mean, seemed like a good kid.
I know that he was in pain because he went and laid down and had himself covered up, and he was moaning and groaning and asking for ibuprofen.
He was up and down all night. He was on the floor. He was sticking his head down on the table.
He goes, my fingertips are numb and I feel like I'm going to faint. That's what his words.
He was like breathing heavy. He went to medical the next morning.
This building called and said he was he had a medical emergency.
He was brought over to the clinic where I was working.
He was waiting to see a doctor.
He wanted to be seen immediately. I tried to calm him by talking to him. He said he was in a car accident.
So he felt sore, said his back and his neck hurt.
Then he asked if he was going to be charged by medical, and they told him yes.
They said he signed a refusal form and didn't want to pay for the emergency visit. I took him back to Building 12.
It's just hard to Monday morning quarterback the actions of folks without knowing, you know, the critical nature of what you're facing at the time. So it's easy to look at the event and say, I wish we'd have done this differently, because obviously you have somebody who has passed in our care and custody, and that's a big deal to us.
Do you believe or do you know if any of the guards took their time or neglected him?
I don't know. Apparently, I mean, due to what happened, he probably shouldn't have came back from medical. As far as I'm concerned, they didn't do their job.
And why would you say that?
He came back from medical, it wasn't a half hour later, and he was dead.
I thought that staff responded appropriately.
Nothing should have been done differently, in your opinion?
I didn't see anything to do differently, no.
There was a medical emergency call in Building 12. The inmate was having a seizure. Your CPR was in progress.
I just thought, you know, you shouldn't even get this man to the hospital. Why isn't he going to the hospital?
Do you want me to do the next one, Tracy? I'm okay, yeah. Okay. Hold on a minute. We have a pulse.
Whoa! Oh, crap, sure do. All right, CPR, get on the chest, get on the chest. Let's start over.
Was anyone disciplined from the jail staff in this incident?
Discipline for?
Anything?
No, there was no discipline.
I felt like I gotta go the rest of my life not knowing what really happened to my kid. And I'm supposed to get over it. I'm supposed to move on. He's not here. He can't enjoy this life with me. And I don't think it's right. Why doesn't he get to enjoy the good life with me?
Online now, Denied Evidence, the next chapter in our investigation into police transparency in Texas. We break down the numbers to show you the scope of this statewide problem, plus an interactive map of the law enforcement agencies taking advantage of this loophole when suspects die in custody. Click the agency to be taken to case file pages on each of those deaths. Also, explore the evidence that surfaced after we started investigating the Herman Titus case. And an interactive timeline of his stay in jail, including extended audio clips from interviews with inmates and officers. And if you missed the original investigation, we'll show you where to find it. It's all online now on your local station's website. Just search for Denied. Any information Demisha Burns received came too late for her to file a personal injury lawsuit against Travis County. But with what evidence we obtained, she's exploring other legal options. It includes records of Titus being detained for being combative, restrained to a chair with no food, fluids, or medication, and then taken out of general population here in Building 12 and possibly put into lockdown for 15 days. His mother said he told her by phone he complained about his pain and got upset with guards, so they put him in lockdown. He filled out a form right here saying staff took his pain medication while on lockdown. The sheriff's office says even in lockdown, inmates get medical care, but in an interview, a nurse told investigators he had not been treated since the day after he got to jail. Finally out of lockdown, we know Titus played basketball. You see here on this surveillance video, it is hard to make out, but staff interviews say the very next day, the day he died, Titus went to medical and said he was sore after this game. His autopsy report even mentions him possibly being hit in the face or the head by another inmate in this rec yard, after which he complained of arm and back pain and numbness in his hands. But investigators say he had no bruises or signs of physical harm. Still, with such pain the day he died, why would he refuse medical treatment? Officers said he was impatient and didn't want to pay the fee for the visit, a fee we learned would have been just $10. The sheriff's office tells us inmates are never denied access to medical care if they can't pay, and if it's an emergency, they go to the hospital. Titus did sign this refusal form, but the reason he lists is too faded to make out on the copy we were provided. Also, the section the medical provider is supposed to sign after informing Titus of the risks of refusing treatment, well, it's blank. And then there is this video. The sheriff's office issued a corrective recommendation for jail staff to actually call 911 when it's requested. We showed this video to Austin Travis County EMS and the Austin Fire Department, whose crews you see here. They wrote, "It illustrates the professional men and women of those agencies working very hard to resuscitate Mr. Titus on one of the most physically and emotionally challenging call types we respond to on a daily basis." Because of our report, though, they've launched a clinical investigation with the Office of the Medical Director to look more closely at this response. This case is among the research shared with Representative Joe Moody, who just last week filed his bill to eliminate the loophole in the upcoming legislative session in January. We'll keep you updated. Thank you for watching this special edition of State of Texas. I'm Josh Hinkle. Have a good day.